The warning that we're hearing or will hear from these CEOs is Basel III endgame, whatever you want to call it. If you keep turning the screws, it's going to hurt the economy. Are they right?
Well, there are aspects of it that are pro-cyclical, which if we're going to go into a recession with steep interest rate increases like we've had and a deteriorating conditions in some aspects of the commercial real estate market, I think that's why people are questioning it. But look, the governors themselves, including Chairman Powell, were very lukewarm about even advancing this regulatory proposal of over 1,000 pages when they announced it. So I think it's good that we're having these hearings on Capitol Hill. We had one on our side of the Capitol a few weeks ago, and people were concerned about the impact on low-income housing, the impact on solar credits, the impact on syndicated loans, the impact on mortgages. So people are really dissecting the Basel endgame to see what we should keep and what we should reject.
Sonali also mentioned the Fed likely to come up tomorrow. The fact that the Fed has raised rates so quickly, the market's now thinking next year potentially there could be a cut, which Jay Powell is trying to temper. How are you reading that right now?
Well, monetary policy factors have a long lag. And we've seen the steepest increase in rates in 40 years and to fight the highest inflation in 40 years. So I'm in the camp that thinks rates will stay higher for longer than some people consider possible. And I'm not sure the Fed has an incentive to cut rates right now. So I'm in that more skeptical camp about those who think that the market should go crazy because they're going to cut rates next year. I'm skeptical on that.
We're, of course, asking you these questions through the guise of your role on not only the Financial Services Committee, but as a former banker yourself, you bring a unique view to the House. And we had some pretty interesting news today. I don't know if you heard this coming or if you learned today yourself, but the chairman is retiring, Patrick McHenry. And so I guess the question is, because we know each other a little bit at this point, Congressman, will you be chairman or ranking member of the committee in another year?
Well, I think first and foremost, we should hold the House for Republicans. So I hope we can expand.
So chairman is your answer.
Well, I hope we can hold the House and expand our majority. And let me say what a treat it's been to work with Patrick McHenry over the past decade. This is a talented person who at a very young age is retiring from Congress after 20 years. Created the historic debt ceiling transaction this year for President Biden and Speaker McCarthy that will really cut spending for the first time and get us on a much better track. Has been an outstanding chairman of the committee, and I look forward to working with him the next year as we accomplish all the final goals he has as chairman of the committee.
But you didn't answer Joe's question for 2025. What are you expecting?
Well, look, I think we'll have a vigorous competition to be the next chairman of the House Financial Services Committee. It's been my honor to serve on that committee for the past 9 years. I've spent 40 years in that arena, both in the capital markets and in commercial banking. And if my colleagues wanted me to take on that task, that'd be great. But look, we have a lot of work to do before we have that to consider.
Crypto industry seemed a little bit concerned about this by way of lauding Chairman McHenry on the way out. Can you get a stablecoin bill? Can you get a greater crypto industry reform bill through committee while he's still chair?
That's my goal. We've done the work with our Democratic colleagues to craft a good regulatory framework that's fit for purpose, because some of the aspects around digital assets in the capital markets or in the commodity markets, they don't fit. Our existing laws don't work. So we want to direct the SEC and the CFTC and the bank regulators. What is that fit-for-purpose regulatory environment? We think we've written that bill. We had bipartisan support. And the same on stablecoins. We want to have the rules of the road on stablecoins, so if people want to use that form of a digital tokenized payment, they can. So I'm optimistic, Joe, that we can get that done before the end of Mr. McHenry's term as chairman, and I'm counting on working with the administration and Democrats in Congress to get that done.
What about the other agenda items that are more pressing? Shalonda Young came out yesterday and said to aid Ukraine, there's no magic pot at the end of the year. This is very time sensitive. Right. Do you think Congress is going to be able to act before year end? Are we looking at January or February?
Personally, I think that's a low probability event that we get that done before the Christmas holiday week. It's possible. I just think it's not my personal view that that's going to be the case. But the OMB director has been working the Hill hard on how to affect the president's proposal. We're working on it hard in both the House and Senate on how we would change it, what changes that we would make, and try to find consensus, because at the end of the day, we will have a strong bipartisan vote to support our allies, Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan. And I can't predict that it'll be before Christmas.
Can anything short of H.R. 2 pass the House when it comes to border?
That's such an important question. You know, I think the key question there, Joe, is what of H.R. 2 can get 60 votes in the Senate?
Do you have a sense of what that is, though?
So I don't, but I think Langford and Romney and Manchin are all working on scenarios.
There will need to be a change in asylum law for this to pass the House. Is that fair to say?
I think it'd be great if we just enforced the existing asylum law that we had.
Okay.
You know, which is that you should apply for asylum from a third country and not be granted admission to the United States temporarily waiting for a hearing that takes years and years and years. Even though we've voted for more judges, we've voted for more ways to streamline that process. It's so frustrating, and it must be frustrating to those people as well, and it's expensive to have them in the country.